Why is it that majority of people, when they think of cryptocurrency, they think about speculation? Originally, it was not meant for that at all. Hi, this is Takatoshi Shibayama, the host of the Future Design Podcast. I run a blockchain solutions company, and I'm always searching for new technologies and ideas to improve our lives and the world we live in. Today, I have Akane Yokoo, founder of Satoshi's Angels and the organizer for Bitcoin Cash meetups around the world. She gives us lessons learned from her grassroots activities to drive crypto adoption in the form of electronic payments, reaching out to retailers one by one. This, in my view, is how any form of new money can be accepted in the real world. So stick around to the end.
Future Design Podcast.
So you've been doing a lot of missions on getting market adoption in cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin Cash for you. So how did it start out for you? What was your mission to get into this crypto space?
Okay, so my background is a little bit unique, I think, because I was kind of on a merchant side that was accepting Bitcoin as payments. And it was back in around 2013. And I was working as an event manager. I was organizing events for like art, music, dancing, and stuff like that at this restaurant called the Pink Cow in Tokyo. And they were the first restaurant to accept crypto payments in Japan. And that's how I got to learn about Bitcoin. And back then there was Tokyo Bitcoin meetup, and they're gathering at the Pink Cow, so I got to know those people. Yeah, and that's how I got into it. And then, as you know, Bitcoin BTC split into BCH in 2017, and I wasn't really working for Pink Cow anymore. But I knew the people at the original Bitcoin meetup. So I started helping organize their new Bitcoin Cash meetups, because lots of people who were supporting BTC, Bitcoin back then, moved to Bitcoin Cash because, they're in love with the concept of Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer, like electronic cash, meaning it's digital cash for anyone to be able to use like anywhere easily. So yeah, so that's why like many of them moved to Bitcoin Cash community, and that's when I started helping them. And that's when I started learning about what is money, like starting with that, and how crypto can be really and substitute money. And then I also learned that more and more business accepting crypto as payments is a very good thing. And I already had some connections with some merchants in Tokyo, so I just started onboarding them for Bitcoin Cash payments, and I keep doing that ever since. Yeah.
Bitcoin originally founded because there was a lot of distrust in the banking system. Now in Japan, as a first world country, there is quite a lot of trust in the banking system. So why is crypto adoption in the market for retailers to accept Bitcoin or cryptocurrency so important for you?
For me, crypto adoption as payments, especially, it's important because there are so many people around the world like who don't even have bank accounts, and with crypto, it's really borderless, and you can use it anywhere, and like even from a different country to different country, like you can just send, and it's really cheap to send, and you don't need credit card companies or banks and any payment service providers, and it's just really revolutionary. And with also with the current government fiat system, with the government's money, it's really unstable. I mean, it looks stable like for developed countries like Japan, for example. It's people tend to trust the banks and the government and things like that. But if you see what's really happening, like the governments are just printing money like crazy, especially during this COVID-19 situation. And like if you zoom out, like it's depreciating. The fiat is depreciating, and it just with crypto we don't have that problem. and lots of people can gain freedom. And I think that's why I feel it's important.
Yeah, there's an economic problem of, for me, like in crypto, is that the base money that is issued by the central banks are usually multiplied by the commercial banks. So in this system, like in Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency that has a limit of issuance, it doesn't really help multiply the cash. So in terms of people getting loans or people uh, or the base money supply is really multiplied by many different derivatives of money. So to me, like the counter argument that I always had about crypto is that yes, maybe you can use it for remitting money across borders, but to use it in a normal market sense for retailers and these things, I thought might be a little bit difficult, or even to replace currency as it is quite difficult as a concept. What do you? And a lot of economists say this as well. What is your opinion on that?
Right. A lot of people say that, and I do think it takes time, and I think it's natural to take time. Like when internet came out, I think many people didn't think how essential it would be for our lives, right? But now we can't really even survive a day without an internet, right?
Right.
So I think, yeah. So I think it's going to take time, but I think the key for adoption is having better infrastructure for crypto payments. And if more and more places, businesses realize that accepting big cryptocurrency makes more sense, and which it does, right? And about crypto, and I'm sure you think it makes sense, rather than using traditional money, and all these like credit card companies and third parties taking a cut along the way, and we can eliminate so much waste. And yeah, and for users, it's really beneficial to use crypto. And I think if more and more businesses realize, and users, that using crypto instead of the fiat currency is better for them, actually. I think more and more places will start accepting, and if there's a lot of option of using crypto, I think users would start using crypto instead of fiat, because it makes more sense for them. And I think it's going to happen. I mean, it might take time, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the I understand the reason why crypto, but at the same time, I guess we're very early in the stages. We see a lot of volatility in crypto prices, and if I send crypto to you, whether it be Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, whatever they are, it might diminish in value or appreciate in value by the time it arrives to you. So as a merchant, there's always a very big problem of price volatility and having to really and they're not in the business to speculate on crypto. So how do you mitigate those kind of risks for the retailers that you work with?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I've been dealing with that for a while. And the answer is, I think, crypto can be converted to something stable, just like you can convert, Japanese yen to US dollars, or and so for merchants, and you're right, the volatility can be an issue if they're just accepting crypto as crypto and just hold the crypto. And for lots of merchants, they need to pay the bills, so it's really important for them to be paid in cash, or fiat currency, or something stable instead of crypto after they receive it. And actually, like lots of crypto idealists argue that oh, it's really it's ideal to just for the merchants to just keep crypto as crypto. And I understand their argument. However, like we're still in the early stage, like you're saying, and volatility is something that's there. And it's I think it's very important for merchants to change to something stable as soon as they receive. And there are many services, fortunately, that let the merchants do that, like some payment service providers in some countries. And so if you can use that kind of service, the merchants should use that. and it's still very much cheaper than using credit card companies. Like credit card companies charge like 4 to 5% of the total sales, which is like really too much for many small businesses. But even with the crypto services, the charge is like usually like 1% or something. So it's still much cheaper and makes sense. And for some countries, they don't have this kind of service that let the merchants settle in fiat currency, including Japan actually. And people see Japan as like kind of advanced with crypto adoption for merchants, but we still don't have that service, surprisingly. So it was all like grassroots thing. So like the community goes to merchants and they ask the merchants to accept crypto, and some merchants actually want to hold in crypto, but lots of merchants need to convert. And I do, if the merchants, like when I approach merchants, new merchants, if they don't know much about crypto, I advise them against risking it by holding crypto. And so for Japan, there's no payment service to let the merchants convert to Japanese yen. So what we do as a community is we actually physically go around these merchants and buy the BC, the Bitcoin Cash in our case, from them for Japanese yen. And some places, like I really wanted to onboard, like I even left some cash with them, and so that they can just use that cash whenever there's a Bitcoin Cash payment, and like when they run out, they can contact me and I can add more cash and stuff like that. I know it's not the ideal way to do it. It's not really scalable, but we're still in the early stage, and I just wanted to do what I can to make adoption happen. So that's how, we've been solving it at least. And I think it's going to be much easier and easier as more services like that come out.
And why is that in Japan there are no crypto conversion companies out there that make this much easier for retail adoption?
That's my question, right? So, okay, there are some services for Bitcoin BTC, but I think maybe because there are some like major hacks in some Japanese exchanges. I think the government is kind of being more careful, and like the regulations got maybe more strict. And I don't know if that's the reason, but I think a lot of exchanges are kind of afraid to expand, maybe, which is really sad. But it's kind of Japanese as well. But the good news is we're trying to bring that service to Japan right now. We're working on it with Go Crypto and Japanese exchange called Liquid, and I hope that happens soon.
Right. Is it a regulatory thing as well? Because let's say in Singapore, if you're any crypto company that are dealing with crypto in any sense, whether it's trading or converting, you do need to get a license here.
Yeah.
This enacted in early of this year. Is it something similar in Japan as well?
Yeah. The exchanges need a license for sure. Yes, but those exchanges do have license. But I think like in terms of I don't know, adding new services, maybe some exchanges were being a little bit conservative, but I'm not sure. But,
Yeah, it could be more of a middleware issue because if there's the crypto exchanges and if there's a middleware in between the retailer and the exchange that can actually make that conversion happen, then it actually works out. The exchanges don't really need to do it themselves. I've seen those services
right. Yeah.
as well. Maybe the ones that you mentioned as well
Yes.
are doing those type of services.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And we also mentioned quite a lot of Bitcoin, and nowadays I feel like the whole kind of world now is looking at Bitcoin as more of a digital gold. Institutional investors are looking at it, comparing it to physical gold and Bitcoin as safe havens for hedging purposes. What is your opinion about how that Bitcoin has evolved compared to the original idea of Bitcoin?
That's a very deep question, because like originally, like you're saying, like lots of people like who fell in love with Bitcoin. The idea of Bitcoin is, it's the idea that you can use it as cash, right? And also there's an aspect of that being Bitcoin being digital gold as well, because you can't keep printing and there's no company or organization controlling Bitcoin, right? Nobody's controlling Bitcoin, but there's a lot there's a lot of political things I guess going on with BTC, and main developers decided not to scale, right, to make it bigger, and which means Bitcoin, BTC doesn't really function as cash anymore. Unfortunately, it used to. Binka was accepting it as cash, and it was cheap and it was fast, and it works like cash, like Bitcoin Cash. For me, right now, works as cash. But yeah, that stopped working, but still, like people who, still lots of people don't really know about Bitcoin, and if they hear about Bitcoin, like they think of the original Bitcoin BTC, so that's what they invest in, right? Because it's so known, and there's liquidity as well, and so yeah. But to me, it really doesn't make this argument of Bitcoin BTC being a digital gold, therefore it's worth investing, doesn't really make sense because there are many other cryptocurrencies now, and some of them have the same characteristic as being digital gold, right? Bitcoin Cash included. It's secure. It has a limited supply, same as BTC, and you can't, nobody's controlling this money, and you can't keep printing the money. But Bitcoin Cash and some other currencies as well, other crypto as well, they work as cash, just like BTC was back then, back several years ago, a few years ago, right? And yeah, so like for me, like I would invest in something that has a characteristic as digital gold, and it also works as cash. But I think new people who get into the space don't really know about the existence of other types of crypto, maybe. And yeah, so I think that's what's happening.
Right. And is there a reason why you follow Bitcoin Cash? Because as you said, there are many cryptocurrencies out there with similar characteristics. Namely, there's Ethereum and XRP and all these other cryptocurrencies out there. What has drawn you to Bitcoin Cash?
Well, first of all, I like the idea of yeah, like you said, like the crypto working as cash, right? And like you said, there are a few other crypto that works as cash. In my opinion, maybe Dash, like Nano, maybe. But the reason why I like Bitcoin Cash is because it first works as cash, and we also have really good developers, and we're very passionate. Like the developers are very passionate, community is very passionate, and they're always there's lots of talking and sometimes like arguing and stuff like that, but they want to improve this cash, this Bitcoin Cash, and want to make it a better cash for the world, and that's what we have in common. And also, and I think Dash, like for example, they're focused on that as well, and which is really great. But Dash is actually not allowed to be used in Japan. That's another reason. But and also our people who like Bitcoin Cash, our community is very passionate about like adoption, like merchant adoption, and lots of us just actively go to merchants and ask them to accept, and I think cryptocurrency being useful is one thing, technically good is one thing, but we do need actual people spreading adoption, making it happen, for it to become useful payment service. So that's what we're Bitcoin Cash is doing, and I think that's probably why I like Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail there about you need the people, the community to drive the market adoption. You can't really go out it on your own, or technology is not going to speak for itself that makes market adoption, right? You need a lot of people behind you to go out to the market and convince a lot of retailers and different people about using it. So what kind of a formula has worked for you? Because you've been doing this for quite some time, and I see you active on Twitter and organizing a lot of meetups as well. What is the, well, in your opinion, the golden formula that has worked for you right now?
So for merchant adoption, I would say the number one tip I always have in mind is, find out what they want. And usually merchants usually want more business, right? So I make sure that I bring that solution to them. Like, for example, I mean, I run Tokyo meetups. So like, we get together every week, and it depends on the week, but we have like 20 to sometimes like 40, 50 people, but average is like 20 right now. But, we make sure that we go around these merchants every week to bring them business, and that's providing them solution, right? Benefits. So, so that they feel like accepting Bitcoin Cash benefits them. And also, I always try to make it easy for the merchants. Like, sometimes you feel like just going over all the history of Bitcoin and like Bitcoin Cash and stuff like that, but that's really confusing. And many merchants are not, tech tech people, right? I mean, I'm not a tech person either, so I understand how they feel. But they're always busy, so you want to make things really easy for them and quick. So like I just prepare a solution to for them to be able to accept Bitcoin easily. Like, for example, like I was, saying earlier, if you live in a country where um, uh, the payment service provider for crypto is available, that's probably the easiest solution. Like you can say, hey, just register, sign up for this service, and you just accept crypto, and the company will send you fiat, money, cash in your bank at the end, so you don't have to worry about anything. And that's the easiest. And yeah, and if you don't have that service available, you can think of other methods, like maybe you can buy crypto from them, so that they're not exposed to volatility risk, from risk from volatility. So yeah, so anyway, I always try to make things easier for them and cash at the end.
Yeah, and you said that bringing more business to them will probably make them really convinced that they would want to accept crypto. So I'm sure you've done a lot of meetups in different places so that they can show that there are people who are wanting to spend Bitcoin Cash for payments. But it seems like in the world right now, it is a very speculative asset, and a lot of people are looking at this asset class as in terms of investments and speculation. In the Japan market that you operate in, do you see a lot of a big community that are in the bucket of people who actually want to spend crypto to make this market bigger?
Um, that's a good question. Um, well, our communities are like really small still. Like people who are using crypto in general is very very few, right? And also people who want to spend crypto as money is it's a very small community of people as well. So I would say, no, I know that we don't have that many people who want to spend crypto. So that is, yeah, that is a problem we're facing, because we need users as well as we need merchants, right? But it's kind of like a chicken and egg thing, right?
Sure.
So we can have more users and more merchants in order to have each other. So, but and I was saying, like, grassroots. We're mostly doing grassroots stuff to onboard merchants right now, and I think it's really important in the early stage. And I also am seeing like more and more bigger companies, like payment service providers, or maybe payment service companies coming in, and they already have like thousands of merchants already, and if they enable crypto payments, and we get these thousands of merchants like on board at the same time. So this is happening, and I think more if more and more as more and more companies, bigger companies like that come into the space, I think there's more infrastructure, or like more there's an environment where people can spend crypto at more and more places. So I think that would lead to increasing users as well.
Yeah, for sure. And are there bad examples that you experienced? Because all this is all by trial and error, I believe. So, are there some of the things that you kind of thought back and said, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that," or "I shouldn't have explained this," or "I shouldn't have shown these kind of things"?
To merchants. Yes, I would say it's about price volatility, like we discussed earlier. So like some merchants in Tokyo, for example, like they like to keep crypto as crypto after they receive it. And I always tell them, like, if you are not really sure about risking it, like maybe better not do it. But like when the price was going up, everybody's optimistic, right? And there's some places that are keeping crypto as crypto, and like some were okay, but like we lost one merchant due to this there was a crash at some point. There's always is, but there was a huge crash, and this merchant was keeping crypto as crypto, um, you know, with their own will. But when they saw the price crash, they just decided not to accept it anymore, because it's too risky. So I guess I regret that I I didn't maybe keep in touch with them more often and make sure they know what was happening, because there was a reason for that crash at that time. And yeah, so but I take that as a lesson, and yeah, so for the new merchants. So
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of it's still early stages, so people are still speculating, or so people are still trying to figure out this market. But I'm sure you have long-standing customers there or merchants that are actually still using Bitcoin Cash or any type of crypto as payments. You mentioned Pink Cow before, that where you worked before. Are there others out there in Tokyo that you can name?
mm-hmm. You can do, actually, you can buy many things in Tokyo with crypto, actually. Well, I mean, Bitcoin Cash, as far as I know. You can eat ramen with Bitcoin Cash. You can get Thai massage. You can get a lawyer. You can buy real estate. You can buy pizza, burgers, sushi, uh, sashimi, and like all kinds of Japanese food. And yeah, there's some of the popular nightclubs in Tokyo are accepting Bitcoin Cash as well. So you can do quite many things. Yeah, you can get like transportation though. Although you can charge like a Nanako card, Nanako card, like you can use it like 7-Eleven and stuff like that. You can charge these like Nanako or AU wallet as well with some crypto, not just Bitcoin Cash, but BTC and big Ethereum and Litecoin or something like that, and Bitcoin Cash. And yeah, so yeah, you can actually did a 3-day survival with just Bitcoin Cash in Tokyo. I was asked to do that, and I wrote an article about it. And yeah, and like they asked me to just live normally for 3 days with Bitcoin Cash. They first asked me, like, can you do this for 24 hours? And I was like, yeah, that's too easy. Like, because I've been doing it. I mean, I was doing it in Roppongi, which is kind of like sort of like the center of Tokyo, kind of. It's a big city, and the merchants in Tokyo kind of concentrating in that area. So I was living there, so I was just using Bitcoin Cash like every day, to buy lunch, dinner, whatever. And anyway, so I accepted the challenge of 3 days total, and yeah, and I managed to charge Nanako card and Eddie card, and the Rakuten Eddie card. You can use that anywhere, like Uniqlo and like convenience stores and anywhere. So like maybe it's a little bit cheating, but like I charged it with Bitcoin Cash, and so like I got to do so many things, and I was like, this is so easy. So it is possible, yeah.
Yeah, Japan's been pretty early on accepting e-cash. So, as you said, those retailers that issue these cards, Nanako cards, and all these things, even like 10 years, even more than 10 years ago, they had them, and there were so many of them. And that was the time when I was thinking, what do you actually need a digital cash when you have normal fiat e-currencies, everywhere in Japan? So, I didn't really get it
Mm,
at that point.
right. I
Um,
know what you mean. Yes.
yeah. Um,
I think lots of people feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean,
What's the
as you
difference, right?
say, a
Yeah.
lot of times, I mean, I guess in the more developing countries where the banking systems are not well developed and financial services are not widespread to the bottom end of the people, it does make sense.
Hmm.
And through your activities, and I think most of it has been in Japan, but you have your global networks. Where else do you know aside from Japan that has been very open and accepting and the communities thriving with accepting crypto?
Mm. In terms of like grassroots community type of thing, I would say like Venezuela had a lot of merchants accepting Bitcoin Cash, and it makes sense, right? And the parts, Australia, there's a community there who's pretty passionate about adoption, and they almost turned it into this city called Townsville in North Queensland into like Bitcoin Cash City, and we had a Bitcoin Cash City conference there and stuff like that. But anyway, basically you can do anything with Bitcoin Cash, and like you can buy gas, and you can even get on taxi with Bitcoin Cash and things like that. And uh, like some countries in Europe, like Slovenia, there's a lot of merchants there as well, and you can actually buy Burger King with Bitcoin Cash there. Yeah, and but this company accepts some other crypto like Ether, BTC, and stuff like that. So yeah, and I was saying like I've been saying I like Bitcoin Cash, but I have really nothing against like other coins, and I think it's really good that other coins like thrive as well together, because um, you're in crypto for a while, I suppose. So like you probably see like the fighting inside the crypto as well, which is
Sure.
lame, but
So many.
yeah, I mean, yes, yeah, like you know, we can understand where these people coming from, but it's not productive and constructive, right? And sometimes people like envy, like if other coins are doing well, like some other coin supporters would be like, that's stupid or something like that. But I think you have to, in order to grow, expand crypto, we have to see crypto as a whole, against the traditional fiat system, to free people with their own money, right? And we should stop fighting, and it's okay like if you want to use Litecoin instead of Bitcoin Cash, or BTC instead of whatever. And as long as crypto itself thrives, like we all thrive, and it's beneficial for everybody. So I think that's really important. I wanted to point out.
Yeah, there's a lot of infighting for sure, and in such a small community with so much infighting that it could almost destruct itself if it doesn't tread
Yep.
really well. So, I understand. And you've been a renegade in this industry, which I think is really exciting, and you in Tokyo also makes a big impact to it because it was kind of almost like the first place where people started hearing about market adoption of crypto in a certain country, and you're still holding the torch and keep it going on. I know that you started a new venture called Satoshi's Angels. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing there?
Right. Yeah, so we started Satoshi's Angels several months ago, actually, and our main team is three female. Sorry, can I start over? Sorry. Yes. So yes, we started Satoshi's Angels several months ago, and our main team is three people. Actually, they're all female, and our main mission is adoption of crypto, of peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. So we're creating educational content for both beginners and people who have been in the space for a long time as well. And we are trying to bridge the West and the East. And we have Cindy Wong in the team. She's Chinese and she speaks English as well. And she is connecting the Chinese community to the West in English. And has been organizing lots of Ask Me Anything AMAs. And yes, we also started a YouTube channel about actually a week ago. It's quite new. It's just the Angels, and yeah. So we hope to get more new people into crypto, including women, because as you know, it's still like mostly male, right, in crypto, and half of the world is women, and so we need more women on board. And maybe it's a little bit too difficult, crypto may be a little bit too difficult for them to understand, or too techie or too nerdy, or like whatever reasons, like we have to get rid of that wall. So that's what we're hoping to do as well.
Awesome, and I hope you continue blazing the trail in Japan and elsewhere. So where else can people find you? I mentioned Twitter. Can you tell us more about what you do there and other places that you are you show up as well?
Yeah, sure. I'm mostly on Twitter, actually, social media wise. The handle is Yoko Akane, Yokooakane. And yeah, and I'm on Satoshi's Angels YouTube channel, and I'm creating videos as well. So I'm there as well. And yeah, if you want to talk about something related to adoption or community, or if you're looking to start a meetup, I'm supporting. I'm helping organize actually more than 10 Bitcoin Cash meetups around the world, and it's growing, and we're starting like 4 new meetups this month, and I'm very excited about it. And yeah, so I'm on Telegram, and my handle is Akane Yokoo. It's just like opposite of Twitter. Yeah, and there's satoshisangels.com website.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I had a wonderful time talking to you.
Thank you. I had fun too. Thank you so much.
Hi, this is your host Takatoshi Shibayama. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Now, if you enjoyed or disliked this show, please let me know by writing in the comment section. The only way I can improve or add value to you is through your voices. If there are any topics that you would like me to pick up, please also let me know in the comments. I'd love to start chatting with you all. And if you would like to continue watching the show, please subscribe. Thank you.